To influence people anyway. I mean, if I ever wanted to influence people in any way, it was to point out to them what influenced me.
What's going on, music lovers? Today we're diving into something absolutely explosive. We're talking about Eric Clapton. Slowhand himself, the blues guitar legend, the man they called God. But behind that smooth blues playing lies some serious hatred and jealousy. Sources claim Eric Clapton had intense feuds with many musicians throughout his legendary career.
There was actually less happening, if you can believe that. You know, it was like the Beatles and the Stones. What else was there?
We're talking about real animosity, shocking betrayals, and rivalries that rocked the music world. This wasn't just professional competition. Insiders say it got deeply personal and nasty.
By the manager of the band, the Yardbirds, his name was George Ogomalski, and he kept calling me Slowhand. I think it was a play on words to do.
Eric revolutionized blues rock and influenced millions of guitarists. But industry veterans suggest he had a bitter side that most fans never saw. When he disliked someone, sources say he made their lives absolutely miserable. From fellow guitar gods to former bandmates, we've uncovered the most shocking feuds in rock history. The #1 spot will completely blow your mind. So buckle up tight, because we're counting down the top 10 musicians Eric Clapton allegedly despised with passion. Let's jump right in. 10. Ginger Baker. Starting at number 10, we have Ginger Baker, his own Cream bandmate. Sources claim Eric and Ginger had one of the most toxic relationships in rock history.
The general public are so fucking dumb.
They apparently couldn't stand being in the same room together during their legendary band days. The tension started almost immediately when Cream formed in 1966.
We had our first sort of talk-through rehearsal at Ginger's house in Neasden, and those two had a sort of argument.
Insiders say Ginger's violent temper and Eric's ego clashed constantly. He supposedly told friends that Ginger was an impossible maniac who made recording sessions absolute hell. One music journalist reported Eric saying Ginger's drumming was brilliant, but his personality was unbearable and destructive. Things exploded during their final tour together. Witnesses claim Eric and Ginger had screaming matches backstage before every single show. Some say they physically fought multiple times over musical disagreements. The hatred was so intense that Cream broke up despite being hugely successful. Here's the shocking part. Sources suggest Eric told people that working with Ginger Baker was the worst experience of his entire career. He apparently said he would rather quit music forever than play with Ginger again. Music producers remember Eric refusing all Cream reunion offers specifically because of Ginger's involvement. 9. Jack Bruce. At number 9, we've got Jack Bruce, another Cream bandmate. The sun was in their eyes. Sources claim Eric felt betrayed by Jack's songwriting dominance and musical control in the band. He apparently resented Jack getting most of the creative credit for Cream's success. The rivalry began when Jack emerged as Cream's primary songwriter and vocalist. Insiders say Eric was furious that Jack's bass playing and voice became the band's focal point.
I had no real inclination. Right. I was pretending, that.
He supposedly told music journalists that Jack was too jazzy and pretentious for blues rock. One anonymous source claimed Eric said Jack's compositions were overcomplicated nonsense that alienated real blues fans. Things turned nasty when Cream broke up. Witnesses remember Eric blaming Jack for the band's internal conflicts and eventual split. Some insiders claim he said Jack's ego destroyed the greatest power trio ever formed. The bitterness lasted for decades after Cream ended. 8. Pete Townshend. Number 8 brings us Pete Townshend. Sources claim Eric couldn't stand Pete's aggressive, destructive approach to guitar playing. He apparently thought Pete was a showman who smashed guitars because he couldn't actually play them properly. The tension started in the mid-60s British rock scene. Insiders say Eric resented The Who's popularity and Pete's iconic windmill guitar technique. He supposedly called Pete's playing primitive power chords for people who don't appreciate real guitar skill. One music critic reported Eric saying Pete's songwriting was overrated and his guitar solos were basic and unimpressive. Things got awkward at British Music Awards ceremonies. Witnesses claim Eric made dismissive comments about The Who's rock operas and concept albums. Some say he mocked Pete's guitar destruction as wasteful theatrics for attention-seeking teenagers. The rivalry became legendary in British rock circles. 7. George Harrison. At number 7, we have George Harrison. Sources claim Eric was jealous of George's Beatles fame despite being close friends. He apparently felt George got worshipped simply for being a Beatle, not for actual guitar ability.
Beatles and the Stones. What else was there, you know? But you had to travel a long way to see a good rock and roll band.
The rivalry was complicated because they were supposedly best friends. Insiders say Eric secretly resented George's legendary status and global fame. He supposedly told close confidants that George was a decent rhythm guitarist, but nothing special as a lead player. One anonymous source claimed Eric said George's solos were simple and uninspired compared to real blues guitarists. Things got incredibly messy with the Pattie Boyd situation. Witnesses remember Eric stealing George's wife after years of friendship. Some insiders claim Eric's obsession with Pattie was partly driven by jealousy of George's perfect life and Beatles' legacy. The betrayal destroyed their friendship for years. 6. Phil Collins. Number 6 brings us Phil Collins. Sources claim Eric despised Phil's transformation from drummer to massive pop superstar. He apparently thought Phil was selling out music for commercial success and embarrassing himself.
It's something I wouldn't want to do again. I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it, yeah, but we had to wear wetsuits, you know.
Really?
The feud started when Phil's solo career exploded in the 80s. Insiders say Eric was shocked that a drummer became bigger than most guitarists. He supposedly told music journalists that Phil's pop music was cheesy, soulless garbage for housewives. One music producer claimed Eric said Phil's success proved that mediocrity sells better than real talent in modern music. Things turned nasty when both appeared at charity events. Witnesses remember Eric making cutting remarks about Phil's 80s production style and synth-heavy sound. Some insiders claim he mocked Phil's drum machine usage constantly. The disrespect was obvious to everyone in attendance. 5. Mark Knopfler. At number 5, we've got Mark Knopfler.
Rhythm don't want to make that guitar cry.
Sources claim Eric was intensely jealous of Mark's unique fingerstyle technique and massive success. He apparently couldn't accept that Mark became a guitar hero without using a pick. The rivalry began when Dire Straits dominated charts in the 80s. Insiders say Eric resented Mark's innovative playing style, getting praised as revolutionary. He supposedly told friends that Mark's fingerpicking was a gimmick that limited his actual guitar ability. One anonymous source claimed Eric said Mark's tone was weak and lifeless compared to real blues guitarists with picks. Things got tense at Guitar Magazine interviews. Witnesses claim Eric made dismissive comments whenever journalists compared him to Mark Knopfler. Some say he refused to acknowledge Mark's influence on modern guitar playing whatsoever. The rivalry split guitar fans into warring camps. 4. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Number 4 is absolutely shocking. Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Texas blues legend. Sources claim Eric felt threatened by Stevie's explosive playing and being called the new guitar god. He apparently resented Stevie's blues authenticity and raw power immensely. The tension started when Stevie burst onto the scene in the early 80s. Insiders say Eric was furious that critics called Stevie the greatest blues guitarist alive. He supposedly told friends that Stevie was just playing Jimi Hendrix and Albert King licks louder. One music critic reported Eric saying Stevie's playing was all flash and volume without real emotional depth. Things became obsessive for Eric. Witnesses remember him attending Stevie's shows and making harsh critiques afterward. Some insiders claim he said Stevie was showing off for audiences who don't know real blues music. The jealousy was painfully obvious to everyone around. Here's what really bothered Eric. Sources suggest he believed Stevie Ray Vaughan was stealing the greatest blues guitarist title that belonged to him. He apparently told people that Stevie's technique was impressive but lacked the subtlety and soul of true blues masters. Music producers recall Eric being visibly upset whenever Stevie's name came up. 3. Prince. At number 3, we have Prince. Sources claim Eric couldn't stand Prince's flamboyant style and incredible guitar versatility. He apparently thought Prince was a pop star pretending to be a real guitarist for attention.
I just love the sound of an electric guitar. And that's simply focused,
The rivalry began when Prince's guitar solos started getting legendary recognition. Insiders say Eric was shocked that a pop artist was being called one of the greatest guitarists ever. He supposedly told music journalists that Prince's playing was technically flashy but lacking blues soul and authenticity. One anonymous source claimed Eric said Prince's guitar work was circus tricks for MTV audiences. Things got explosive at guitar polls and rankings. Witnesses claim Eric became furious when Prince appeared on greatest guitarists lists above him. Some insiders say he refused interviews with magazines that featured Prince's guitar prowess. The bitterness consumed him for years. Here's the devastating truth. Sources suggest Eric believed Prince didn't deserve guitar god status because he played multiple instruments. He apparently told friends that Prince was a jack of all trades, master of none. Music industry veterans remember Eric saying Prince's guitar reputation was inflated by his pop stardom and mysterious persona. 2. Jimi Hendrix. Number 2 will blow your mind. Jimi Hendrix. Sources claim Eric's jealousy of Jimi was legendary and painful. He apparently witnessed Jimi's rise and felt completely overshadowed by the guitar revolutionary from America. The rivalry started when Jimi arrived in London in 1966. Insiders say Eric attended Jimi's first shows and felt his world collapse watching him play. He supposedly told friends that Jimi was all theatrics and feedback without real blues understanding. One famous story claims Eric walked out of a Jimi concert saying he should quit guitar forever. Things became an obsession throughout Eric's career. Witnesses remember Eric constantly being asked about Jimi in every interview. Some insiders claim he made cutting remarks about Jimi's technique being sloppy and undisciplined. The comparison haunted Eric for his entire life. 1. Pattie Boyd. Here we are, number 1. This isn't a musician, but Pattie Boyd's relationship dynamic. Sources claim Eric's hatred toward George Harrison intensified because of his obsessive love for George's wife. This love triangle created the ultimate musical betrayal. The situation began when Eric fell madly in love with his best friend's wife. Insiders say Eric's jealousy of George's perfect life with Pattie consumed him completely. He supposedly wrote Layla about his forbidden love and desperate obsession. One anonymous source claimed Eric pursued Pattie relentlessly while pretending to be George's friend. Things exploded when Eric finally stole Pattie away from George. Witnesses remember the scandal rocking the entire music industry. Some insiders claim Eric's actions were driven more by jealousy of George than actual love for Pattie. The betrayal destroyed one of rock's most famous friendships forever. So there you have it, the top 10 musicians Eric Clapton allegedly hated most. These rivalries were intense, personal, and absolutely legendary. What do you think about these feuds? Were they justified or pure jealousy? Drop your comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more shocking music secrets. Which rivalry shocked you most? Let us know right now. See you next time.